McAlberts right about the shoe. The shoe was not the same in the pic shown in court as the shoe pulled from the evidence bag by Trooper Bukake.
You mentioned you're at the hospital. There was a sneaker. One.
Yes.
Bukake!
Woo! Good afternoon, friends. It's great to see you guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Me and my glare rigged mic are having a wonderful day. Of course, except for the fact that there is a new lawsuit. But this may not be as bad as everyone thinks. It's definitely not as bad as the McAlberts think it is. And it's definitely not as bad as their cronies on Twitter think that it is. So, yes, this is duct tape for sure. And a lot of it, I'm pretty proud of this that I did. I probably used way more than I needed to, but everything's better in excess, I believe. It is my personal opinion. And oh my God, Michelle Smalls just gifted a membership. Thank you so much, Michelle Smalls, for gifting a membership. And Cherry's yelling at me again. Why is Cherry yelling at me? Pin what link? What link? What link am I supposed to pin? Oh, the relevant one? Got it. Okay. Oh, my looks like the rest of my wallpaper just got here. 1 second, guys. Let me bring that inside. All right. Yeah, so a little update on the quitting smoking thing. Yeah, I'm not ready for that yet. I'm just not ready for that yet. I'm gonna quit smoking eventually. But I'm not ready to even try yet. I got to get this apartment set up. This apartment, dude, like the first, like who besides me being a moron, who decides to try to quit smoking the same month that they just moved into a new apartment while they're moving? Like who? That's just plain dumb. I'm not doing that. I'm not ready for that yet. But yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to the old quitting smoking thing. We'll cross that bridge when it's absolutely necessary. Oh my God.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
Donkey's Noggin, thank you so much. The mic is Cuban fixed. Cherry owes me child support. It was most likely. Yes. Donkey's Noggin, yes. The mic is most definitely Cuban fixed. If anybody has ever grown up with Cubans or is Cuban, then you know that is not a slur. It's not inaccurate. It is absolutely accurate. It's an accurate stereotype. Oh my God, hold on. And Bruce Wayne says Jay Brill, thank you so much. Jay Brill is presiding judge in this matter. Probably. Yeah. It makes a whole lot of sense that would be the case. Kim, thank you so much. Love you, Glera, but I'm done with Turtle Boy. Just saying, where the fuck is your wish list? My wish list is up there, dude. I don't know. Cherry can share it. There's only a couple of more things on there. And why are you done with Turtle Boy? It seems like we're just getting started. Okay. I'm still Team Turtle Boy 150%. Give a fuck what anybody says. And I'm still Team Karen Reed 100%. So I don't want to hear that shit. This is going to be interesting. I hate the fact that, by the way, I have nothing to do with that. The pinned comments now, are pinned at the bottom of the chat instead of the top, and that's annoying. But yes, I'm a turtle head all day, bro. Okay, turtle head all day. All right. But you have a right to feel how you feel, man. This ain't a dictatorship most of the time. Laura Lee just became a member. Thank you so much. So, yes, folks, the title is accurate. Apparently now it's not enough that there's a lawsuit from the O'Keefes against Karen Reed, and that Karen Reed is suing the McAlberts and certain members of the Massachusetts State Police. Now the McAlberts are suing Karen Reed and TURTLEBOY for defamation, and they've been threatening to sue TURTLEBOY for defamation for a long time now. And Aiden has been hoping that they would do this. Fun size 5, thank you so much. Thanks for going live. You've been missed. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate you being here. Sarah Be Creative, thank you so much. This is for Cherry for having to deal with your ass. Love you both. Well, joke's on you, because Cherry ain't getting that shit. Ha! That shit is all mine. Fuck Cherry. Defamation? Is that how she would say it, Cassie? Defamation? Anything due to them doing it in Barnstable? I don't know. Listen, I saw the tweets, and I asked Cherry to fetch me the lawsuit, and that she did. And so here we are talking about it. I have not read it yet. I have not even thumbed through it yet. But we're totally going to go through that. Now, if the gum smacking bothers you, going back to the quitting smoking thing, I am not smoking in my new apartment no matter what. Okay? So I am chewing nicotine gum for now. And so the nicotine gum is going to get chewed on live streams. I know that gets frowned upon by people who are like, oh my God, he's chewing gum on a live stream. How dare he? Well, motherfuckers who are trying not to smoke in their apartment, who smoke, do that shit. So that's what's happening. I'm going to try to mask the chewing sounds, the smacking, as much as I possibly can, but it's happening. I'm chewing gum while I'm live streaming. So it is what it is. So I'm not even smoking weed in this apartment. I'm a gummy guy. So I do have I have this. Let's go over and oh, what's up, Chasing? I haven't seen you in a minute. Post woke world, what's up? I don't think I can blow bubbles with this. This stuff is really expensive, so I'm chewing them half a piece at a time. So yeah. Let me see what we got here. So Christina Rex had posted. So it's supposedly a 2,500 page document, but it's a 50-page document repeated 50 times for whatever reason, according to Christina Rex. And I didn't even go over the Tanner stuff, which I meant to do. And yes, folks, for those of you who are members and those of you who are not, but those of you who are members, there will be a petty stream soon. Petty stream is in the works. Patience, darling, patience. Joanna Marie has been a member for 4 months. Speaking of which, it's good to see you. Turtlehead all day, every day, for show. Doggy's Noggin again. Thank you so much. How are these animals adjusting to the new place? How are the animals adjusting to the new place? They're doing great. They're staring out the window right now because they like to, and now they're fighting. Yeah. So watch this. Yeah, it won't let me now. I wanted to show from my phone, but I'd have to log in and do all that, and I don't feel like doing that. But yeah, they play fight a lot. Jago holds him. He holds his own, man. It's pretty amazing. But yeah, I finally got all the boxes out of this place. I got more boxes coming, but I finally got all the boxes out of this place. And I got my living room kind of looking dope. Say with my TV and my pictures, and you know. So yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But yeah, it's slowly but surely starting to look like a home. So let's see. Petty, please pass the sugar on top. Petty, please, with the sugar on top. Love it. They submitted repeatedly to make it intimidating. Is that what they did? Is that a thing? Is that what they did? Well, it's 2 Pulp Fiction picks. Yeah, let me let's. I'm sorry if I missed any of your super chats. But I want to pull this up because there's a lot to read. 50 pages is still a lot. But I suspect that this is going to be fun to read. Because there's no way that it's not full of lies. There's no fucking way. Okay, I want to be very clear about that. There's no fucking way that this document isn't packed with lies, because Karen Reed did not hit John O'Keefe with her vehicle. John O'Keefe was not struck by a vehicle. And everyone who's a plaintiff in this lawsuit lied under oath during a murder trial. In some cases, 2 murder trials. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Oh, I mean, sue me for what? For what? Good luck. Good luck. So there has been some fun stuff. I saw that Carrie Roberts did an interview with the drunk retard lady from TikTok, from the Karen Reed trial. Plural. So Carrie Roberts did a sit-down interview with her. It looks like she's trying to set herself up to be a real journalist, which is really funny. So we'll go over that at some point, but not today, I don't think. Unless I do it and throw it in with the petty, which I'll probably do. Probably just throw that in with the petty. So, yeah, there's a lot of people posting a lot of madness, just crazy madness, as they're reading this. And so I'm following this stuff on Twitter, which is really fun. It's really fun, because the people who support the McAlberts are what did we like to call them? Fucking retarded. Yeah, everybody who supports the McAlberts is a fucking retard. Clearly, because if you think that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe, you're fucking retarded. It has been established. It is. So it is. Sloth Life gifted 5 memberships, people. Thank you so much, Sloth Life. We love you. And yes, my petty streams are members only. And so if you're not a member and you want to become one, you can become one. And you will see me just shit all over some people who have been begging for it in the community. So let me just go ahead and pull up the filing here, because this is just gonna be fun. I feel like. But yeah, and I still want to go to the gym at some point tonight. I mean, Bob knows why I go to the gym, right, Bob?
Will's got biceps that are like the size of sequoia trees. And
Yes, thank you, Bob. We love Bob. So let me pull this up real quick. Hold on. What? Okay, whatever. All right, here we go. So now I'm sorry, as I've got this pulled up here, I'm not going to be able to see the chat too much, but I will do my best. And why this is in Barnstable? Yep, that's totally how you say it. I have no idea. But the plaintiffs here are Jennifer McCabe, Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and Higgy. This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to hear what the law tubers say about this stuff. So Higgy's involved in this, which is really interesting. This is wild. Okay, so it says here, this case arises from a multi-year conspiracy orchestrated by Karen Reed and Aidan Carney to subvert and prejudice the criminal justice process in Norfolk County, Massachusetts. Through a coordinated scheme, Reed and Carney sought to protect and enrich themselves by defaming, harassing, and tormenting the plaintiffs who served as witnesses in connection with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts investigation into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. They forgot to mention that. And its protection of Reed for his murder. More specifically, Reed and Carney conspired to defame and did defame the plaintiffs by falsely asserting, among other things, that they were responsible for O'Keefe's death, conspired to conceal their roles in his death, and framed Reed for murder, all of which I absolutely believe to be true, and anybody with common sense believes that to be true as well. The plaintiffs are now and have always been entirely innocent of any involvement in John O'Keefe's tragic death. No, I'm sorry. But the problem is let's just get down to it real quick. Let's break that down step by step. So we know that Jennifer McCabe, regardless of some jackass named Ian Whiffen and what he had to say, we know that Jen McCabe Googled Haas Long to Die in Cold at 2:27 a.m. You would have to be stupid to think that that's just a coincidence, or that Karen Reed told her to do that. There's no witnesses, no credible witnesses that say so. Carrie Roberts lied to the grand jury saying that she heard her do that, and she didn't. She changed her testimony, changed her statement. Okay, hold on. Okay, sorry. I got distracted by something here in StreamYard, and it's gotten on my nerves. Well, I don't know. Now you have to understand. I don't know who's going to represent Aiden in her civil suit. I am assuming that Karen Reed is going to maintain the services that she's retained, the same attorneys that she's retained, the services of her current civil situation. And so, but as far as Aiden's attorneys go, I don't know who he's going to get or who he already has. But I'm sure it'll be somebody. So far, he's had great judgment with attorneys. And so, and that's an understatement. So I'm sure whoever he picks will be fantastic. So yeah, let's break that down for a second. So Karen Reed, Jen McCabe Googles "Haas Long to Die in Cold" at 2:27 a.m. Why it shows up at 2:27 a.m. There's still no solid explanation for this. It's absolutely ridiculous to say that just because she happened to have a window open, that a search somehow time traveled to that window. It makes no sense that it jumped over to that window. And it would be during those minutes where she spoke to Brian Albert, that phone records say that she spoke to Brian Albert, which she denies speaking to Brian Albert at that time, but the phone records say that she did. So all these people just did was go, I don't know why that says that, but that's not true. That's not what happened. That's a lie. And that's what they did. They took the data and then they said the data's wrong. This is what happened. Queen BKC, thank you so much. We have missed you. I hope you're enjoying your new place. Way to level up. I am. Thank you so much. And special thanks to all of you guys for helping with the Amazon wish list. That was amazing. And just for being awesome and supportive, that allowed me to level up like this. But the whole plan here is to utilize the privacy here and make this place all mine. Basically, just make this an inspirational environment for myself to be able to give you guys the best possible content and create. So that's the idea. Like this is not even really the level up. This is the means to the level up. So thank you guys so much for everything. So now yeah, I mean, that's one theory that they could just be trying to, but I mean, it's costing them money. So no, you know what I mean? Like these people don't have, they're not going to be able to out monetize Aiden. Aiden has too much support. And now that the very people who we all know are responsible for the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, now that they are actually trying to sue TURTLEBOY, he's going to get even more support now. It would be foolish to not show TURTLEBOY more support. It would be foolish to not show Karen Reed more support. So this is where we're at. And Brian Higgins being totally innocent of this, yet being the only one with any motive, and yet being the only one who actually destroyed evidence, being the only one who lied under oath, between him and Karen Reed anyway, when I say the only one, to say that he's innocent is insane. They're going to have to prove. This is why defamation cases are really hard to prove, because they're going to have to prove that TURTLEBOY is lying about this, which means that we're going to have to go down this whole rabbit hole all over again. And now Aiden is involved. Now enter Turtle Boy and his attorneys. This just got fucking fun. Okay? If I'm Turtle Boy, that's what I'm thinking. Now, this is not me being happy that Turtle Boy is dealing with more shit that he's got to fucking deal with. This is not me being happy about Karen Reed having to deal with more shit that she and her family now have to deal with. This is none of that. This is me realizing the grand scheme of things, seeing this for the grand scheme of things and what it is. And it is fucking fun. Because these people are now going to they just put themselves in a position to be deposed. They just put themselves in a position to be questioned by the mighty Mark Betterow. That just happened. Exactly. You all know what's up. You all know exactly what's up. And what do you think is going to happen? Like, did they think by doing this that this is going to shut Turtle Boy up? You think he's not going to get louder? Now, his attorneys might advise him, nah, now it's time to pull back, start talking about something else. But there's something that tells me that that's probably not going to happen. But we'll see. But either way, I'm going to support Aiden 100%, no matter what he does, and I will still be doing my part to shed light on this. This is amazing. Reed's and Carney's calculated operation to assassinate the character and reputations of the plaintiffs has caused incalculable harm, subjecting them to a daily tidal wave of hatred, harassment, and intimidation. While the damage to these plaintiffs has been catastrophic, Reed's and Carney's lies have also caused a rupture within the Canton, Massachusetts community, poisoning the community's cohesion and discourse. Cohesion, I don't know, and discourse. Reed's and Carney's lies, which were amplified by a vigorous public relations campaign, tainted the criminal prosecution of Reed and deprived the O'Keefe family and the Commonwealth of the justice they deserve. So apparently, Turtle Boy and Karen Reed are responsible for Karen Reed being found innocent of a crime that she was already innocent until proven guilty. So it's Karen Reed and Aiden's fault that the Commonwealth failed to prove that Karen Reed killed John O'Keefe because of the support that Turtle Boy has garnered for Karen Reed and for himself. Am I understanding that correctly? Is that where we are? I find that adorable. Beck's Living for Free gifted 5 memberships, folks. This is, yeah. So now, what this is, folks, I find the timing to be interesting, but we'll get into that later. So according to this, Karen Reed and Turtle Boy conspired to what? Make the Commonwealth fail to find Karen Reed guilty of a crime that she was already innocent of anyway, and in the eyes of the law, innocent until proven guilty? Okay. Okay. The plaintiffs bring this civil action to finally hold Reed and Carney accountable for the wreckage that their conduct has caused, and to prove in a public forum governed by the rules of evidence that Reed and Carney individually and collectively pursued a deliberate scheme, excuse me, to spread lies about the plaintiffs, use social media and other amplification means to achieve maximum penetration of those lies, and enrich themselves through their ill-gotten celebrity. Ill-gotten celebrity. I got to read that number 3 one more time. That's very funny to me. The plaintiffs bring the civil action to finally hold Reed and Carney accountable for the wreckage and the wreckage that their conduct has caused, and to prove in a public forum governed by the rules of evidence that Reed and Carney individually and collectively pursued a deliberate scheme to spread lies about the plaintiffs, used social media and other amplification means to achieve maximum penetration of those lies, and enrich themselves through their ill-gotten celebrity. This is very funny. Hold on a second. Hold on. MC Kasi G just gifted 5 memberships. MC Kasi G, homie, just gifted 5 memberships to 5 lucky antenna people. So basically, that's in a paragraph. These people got loud and said, and used social media, used the power of social media to exercise their free speech and to prove that the facts dictate that Karen Reed didn't do this. And if John O'Keefe was not struck by a vehicle, then he had to have gone inside that home. He had to have been inside 34 Fairview Road. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. One way or the other, John O'Keefe went inside 34 Fairview Road, and whatever happened to John O'Keefe happened inside that house. So it's going to be interesting to prove defamation, because they're going to have to prove that that didn't happen. I wonder if they thought that through, because it's on them to prove the defamation. And in order to prove defamation, they're going to have to prove that they were not responsible for covering up the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, if not being responsible for the death itself. Like, how do they not get what they've done here? Do they know what they've done? Jurisdiction and venue. The court has subject matter jurisdiction over this action pursuant to MGL C212. Venue is appropriate in this court pursuant because at least one party to this case, Brian Higgins, resides in Barnstable County. Okay, so they chose Brian Higgins. Now, folks, we know Massachusetts is dirty, 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 dirty. That's why we're all here. That's why we've all been here, folks. Right? Are we not all aware of the fact that Massachusetts, the justice system in Massachusetts is all kinds of fucked up? And now we have one party of these plaintiffs who resides in that county. And that one party of those plaintiffs happens to be a connected ATF agent. Connected. Is that not safe to say? Connected. So forgive me if I don't automatically fear that there's going to be some dirty, good old boy bullshit going on in fucking shit kicker stable county where homeboy knows lawyers, homeboy knows judges, homeboy knows cops who know judges, agents who know judges. Says here, defendant Karen Reed is a resident of North Dighton, Massachusetts. On January 29, 2022, an intoxicated Reed struck John O'Keefe with the back of her Lexus SUV, incapacitating him and ultimately causing his death. On June 9th, 2022, Reed was arrested after being indicted by a grand jury for second-degree murder, manslaughter while operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol and leaving the scene of an accident, resulting in death in connection with her causing the death of John O'Keefe, which she was acquitted of. On July 1st, 2024, a jury failed to reach a unanimous verdict on charged offenses, and the court declared a mistrial. In 2025, the Commonwealth retried Reed, and on June 18th, 2025, the jury convicted Reed of driving under the influence of alcohol, but concluded that the Commonwealth failed to prove Reed's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt on the remaining charges. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I could shut that shit down right now, and I don't even have to be on Aiden's or Karen Reed's civil defense team. All you have to do is pull up the article, the local Massachusetts article that interviewed the foreman. You get a deposition from that guy. But at least pull up that interview where the foreman was like, basically spelled out that he believed that Karen Reed was innocent. That not only did the Commonwealth, as it says here, fail, or the jury failed to find that Karen Reed did this, but the jury, at least the foreman of the jury, knew something was fishy when he saw the footage of Karen Reed's SUV being towed away from her home in Dighton. He says in this interview, the foreman of the jury says in this interview that he knew something was up. He knew something was fishy, I believe the words he used. So if I'm on this defense team, I'm like, okay, I that shuts that down right there. That language is ridiculous. Not only did the Commonwealth fail to prove Karen Reed's guilt, Karen Reed's defense team proved her innocence, which was not their obligation to do. Defendant Aiden Carney, a.k.a. TURTLEBOY, is a resident of Holden, Massachusetts. Carney owns and operates the website tbdailynews.com and is responsible for the content that appears on that website. Carney also owns and controls the YouTube channel TURTLEBOY Live, the Rumble channel TURTLEBOY Daily News, the Facebook page TURTLEBOY Daily News, the X account under the handle Dr. TURTLEBOY, and oh my God, hold on one second here. Megan Sue, thank you so much. I've always thought those four specifically were involved in John's death. This lawsuit confirms that for me. It's just dumb on their part to do this. I can't disagree with you on that. I just can't disagree with you on that. Because specifically, if I were to name four culpable people in the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, in theory, I would have named those four people. 100%. I totally fucking agree. I mean, it's fascinating. Now, the thing is one could argue, well, that's why they're suing, is because that's the narrative. But no, I can tell you this, and I want to be very clear about this, and I will testify under oath anywhere I have to do so. I did not draw any conclusion. I did not draw any conclusion on whether or not Karen Reed was innocent or guilty of this crime based on anything that I heard from TURTLEBOY. Now, there are things that TURTLEBOY did uncover, but the fact is I don't view TURTLEBOY as being an influence on my opinion being formed that Karen Reed was innocent once I formed that opinion. I worked very hard to be objective. I was like, I don't, no. I want to look at the facts. I want to look at the documents, and nothing indicated that Karen Reed did this. But a whole lot of other stuff made it look like Higgins could have done this, made it look like, at the very least, Brian Albert could have saved his friend's life, made it look, at the very least, that Jen McCabe could have saved her friend's life, and that Brian Albert could have done this, and that Colin Albert could have done this. Colin Albert lied repeatedly under oath on the stand. I mean, there's a lot. There's plenty here. The Facebook page, TB Daily News, the X account under the handle Dr. Turtleboy, the Instagram page under the handle Turtleboy News, and TikTok account under the handle Turtleboy Daily News. Carney monetizes the content he publishes on these various platforms and outlets by selling merchandise and advertising, and by asking for donations to his Cash App account at Cash App Uncle Turtleboy, or at $ Uncle Turtleboy. In 2023, a grand jury indicted Carney on witness intimidation charges related to his conduct towards the plaintiffs. The grand jury accused Carney of harassing the plaintiffs, charging him with 8 counts of witness intimidation, 5 counts of picketing a witness, and 3 counts of conspiracy to intimidate a witness. Plaintiff Jennifer McCabe is a resident of Canton, Massachusetts. McCabe testified publicly and under oath at the trial and retrial of Reed. She also voluntarily testified as a witness before state and federal grand juries. She also, this is the parts that they're leaving out, she also lied under oath. She lied under police statements. She lied to the FBI, and she lied under, I already said under oath. So she lied to the grand jury, she lied to FBI agents, and she lied during a murder trial, during 2 murder trials. Plaintiff Brian Albert is a resident of Norwood, Massachusetts, and a retired sergeant of the Boston Police Department. Brian Albert testified publicly and under oath at the trial of Reed. He also testified voluntarily as a witness before state and federal grand juries, who also lied under oath. Plaintiff Colin Albert is a resident of Canton, Massachusetts. Colin Albert testified publicly and under oath at the trial of Reed. He also testified voluntarily as a witness before a federal grand jury. Plaintiff, and he testified that he had never been in a fight before, even though we saw plenty of footage that he had been in fights before, provided by Dr. Turtleboy. Plaintiff Brian Higgins. Higgins is a resident of Sandwich, Massachusetts, and a special agent with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives. Higgins testified publicly under oath at the trial of Reed and lied publicly and under oath. He also testified voluntarily as a witness before state and federal grand juries. Non-party John O'Keefe was a resident of Canton, Massachusetts, and a Boston police officer. Non-party Alan Jackson was Reed's attorney. Non-party David Yannetti was Reed's attorney. Factual background. That's rich. Factual background. I love that shit. Sorry, I don't want to. Okay. Sorry, I couldn't see the screen, but I'm going back to see Emma Louise. Thank you so much. Guarantee all phones are lost and all data erased. Well, I mean, they're the ones that have to prove. So, I mean, I don't understand what they think they're going to accomplish here, because they're the ones who are going to have to prove defamation, and they're going to have to provide their tech, and their tech not being tampered with. They couldn't even do that during the Karen Reed trial. Either one of them. This is what they call a factual background, folks. On January 29, 2022, in the middle of a snowstorm, Reed struck O'Keefe with the back of her Lexus SUV while she was driving drunk, leaving him to die in freezing temperatures on the lawn of 34 Fairview Road in Canton, Massachusetts. Reed repeatedly told first responders on the scene, I hit him, which they failed to prove, and made other incriminating statements, including telling the police that she did not see O'Keefe enter 34 Fairview on January 29, 2022. An investigation into John O'Keefe's death resulted in the arrest, indictment, and prosecution of Reed for his murder. Jackson and Yannetti represented Reed in connection with all Commonwealth's prosecution. This is all beautiful, because this is the stuff that they're throwing in their lawsuit. So when they throw this stuff in their lawsuit, by throwing this stuff in their lawsuit, they open the door for all of this stuff. Like, this is all going to be discoverable. This is all going to be stuff that they're going to bring up in depositions. My wet dream for the last 2 fucking years, people, is to see Jennifer McCabe deposed by the mighty Mark Betterow. I have been dying for this. Running on caffeine, thank you so much, or on caf. Their brain cells were drowned in booze to do this. I mean, yeah, dude. I mean, I could just imagine when they made the final decision. It was probably about 5:30 a.m. and looked a little something like,
Yes! I like it.
yeah. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Shortly after her arrest and consistent with her several admissions of liability, Reed's counsel Yannetti, the cerebral ninja to you, told the court that O'Keefe's death was an accident by calling the charges a tremendous reach, right? And explaining that Reed had no criminal intent. She didn't. In January 2022, Carney's occupation was that of an aspiring internet personality with limited reach in the greater Boston area. He primarily, okay, stop, okay? When you're an aspiring internet personality, you don't have limited reach. That's the cool thing about it being an internet personality, is the reach can go global very easily. It can go global in a second, depending on the content. Depending on the perfect storm of circumstances. That could absolutely happen. Carney's occupation was that of an aspiring internet personality with limited reach in the greater Boston area. He primarily commented on sports and other media reports. Carney's objective was to attract attention to himself in order to build a brand and monetize his audience. To do so, Carney routinely engaged in provocation and courted controversy, while he described himself at times as a journalist. In fact, Carney has no journalistic training, editorial standards, or oversight. They keep doing that. Now, I love this. The way they describe him is like, okay, so he primarily commented on sports and other media reports. Carney's objective was to attract attention to himself in order to build a brand and monetize his audience. Yes, that's what we're all here to do. What the fuck are you talking about? To do so, Carney routinely engaged in provocation and courted controversy. That's also a very well-known method to do so. It's not exactly my method, but it helps. It absolutely helps. Controversy sells. People like to see that shit. Why do you think the penny streams do so well? While he described himself at times as a journalist, in fact, Carney has no journalistic training, editorial standards, or oversight. How does he not have editorial standards? I think he does have editorial standards, actually. But he's constantly accused of not having any editorial standards. And he's his own oversight. And his audience is his own oversight. And his journalistic training is OJT, bitch. Okay? That's what being independent means, bro. Independent dreams. Oh, well, fucking Eddie Van Halen, man. He didn't play guitar because he never took any guitar lessons. Huh. How does that work? Stevie Ray Vaughan never took any guitar lessons. So, I mean, how did, you know? I guess he's not a guitarist. I guess he wasn't a guitarist. Was he? Right. Emily C. 100%. They love that shit. They love it. Random Girl, member for 8 months. Thank you so much. Will, petty streams do well because of you. Well, yeah, that too. What I'm saying, though, is, you know, I mean, the subject matter is stuff that people are pissed off about. Like, I just take the stuff that people are mad about and I make you laugh with it. That's it. At least I try to. That's it. But controversy is controversy. You know what I mean? The launch of the defamation campaign, let's see, despite her several admissions of liability, by the time she was indicted and arrested on murder and related charges in June 2022, Reed had set in motion a defamation campaign to falsely blame others for O'Keefe's death to escape responsibility for her own culpability. Prior to her arraignment, Reed falsely denied responsibility for O'Keefe's death and, contrary to her prior admissions, falsely stated to law enforcement officers that she was not responsible for O'Keefe's death. Instead, she falsely claimed that O'Keefe had been beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert. Reed knew this statement was false and that Brian Albert and Colin Albert had nothing to do with O'Keefe's death because she knew she had hit O'Keefe with her car, causing him death. If I remember correctly, now I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't remember any public platform where Karen Reed said that that John O'Keefe was beaten up by Brian and Colin Albert. I believe she said something maybe to the cops under body cam or something like that. But I don't think that she publicly said that like in an interview or anything like that. I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure. But is it wrong? I mean, is it wrong for her to have that theory? Because if it was an interview, I guarantee you the way that it was questioned was, what do you think happened to John? What's wrong with her saying what she thinks? She's innocent. It was her boyfriend who got killed. She's not allowed to have an opinion. She's not allowed to express that opinion publicly. Right. It was when that's when I thought it was, when she said, we're all in on the joke, right? But let's just say that she flat out said, I think Brian Albert and Colin Albert beat him up. That's not defamation. That's expressing an opinion. That's what I think happened. That's not particularly what I think happened. I have my theories as to why she's not saying and not into my not in line with my theory as to what happened and who's responsible. I have my opinions and theories on that, but we won't get into that right now. But those, if those are her thoughts exactly, Cherry. If a reporter goes, "What do you think happened to John?" and she says, "I think that Colin and Brian beat him up," well, then how's that defamation? She's not responsible for what the public does. And she's not to be held responsible. I'm telling you right now, I find it insulting to say that TURTLEBOY is responsible for anything that I say or that Karen Reed is responsible for anything that I say. I don't like it. I don't like it. I have my opinions. I am capable of independent thought. I engage in independent thought. No one has any influence over what I think other than the facts. And I merely have found common ground with thousands of people with common sense and have the same opinions that I do. Now, we don't all have the same opinions as far as details, but that's okay. And I find it interesting that there's even a civil discourse between Republicans and Democrats in this community. Why do you think that is? In a climate, think about it, in a climate where, in a world that we live in right now, where almost everything that you do or say is dictated by and judged based on your political affiliations. Like, I could say something and then automatically you go, "Oh, that dude's probably a fucking right-wing fucking psycho." Or that dude's a fucking left-wing fucking entitled prick. You know what I'm saying? I could say something and then what happens is somebody's going to do that. It's just the norm these days. And I have to say that it's very telling. It speaks volumes to me that people in this environment, in this world that we live in, the facts are so overwhelming that everyone's kind of like, fuck all that. Listen, I don't care who you fucking voted for, okay? I don't give a shit, even though it does come up from time to time. But I don't care who you voted for. The facts are the facts. Period. You know what I mean? Like, that tells me that those facts are so overwhelming that it's not deterred. Like, this community is not deterred or influenced by what are people going to think of me politically? What are people going to think of me and what my political affiliations are? That's what everything else on social media fucking is. And there are people standing outside of that courthouse, both Karen Reed trials, every TURTLEBOY hearing, both Democrat and Republican alike, standing out there, standing up for free speech, standing up there for civil rights being met in our criminal justice system. Patriots, doesn't matter what party they belong to, patriots who believe in the fundamental fabrics that hold this country together. Reed knew this statement was false and that Brian Albert and Colin Albert had nothing to do with O'Keefe's death because she knew that she had hit O'Keefe with her car, causing his death. Now, this is funny because they're basing all of this on Karen did it, right? They're basing their entire lawsuit on Karen doing this. But I'm sorry, but Karen was acquitted of this. That's what's going to matter. In a court of law, that's what's going to matter. It doesn't matter what the fuck you think. That's what's going to matter. If I didn't do it, somebody did. Who are the most likely suspects? So you're trying to sue her? I mean, that makes no sense. Reed's false accusation against Brian Albert and Colin Albert was recorded on police body cameras and released to the public during a pretrial hearing. So here they admit it that she wasn't trying to campaign anything. So you're big fucking all right. So that's why I brought this up before. Let's explore that. Reed's false accusation against Brian Albert and Colin Albert was recorded on police body cameras. Okay, so it wasn't even in a fucking interview. It wasn't even in a TV interview. It wasn't even on a YouTube channel. It wasn't on any of those fucking things. What it was police body cam footage. So you're going to tell me that you're suing her for defamation because she said, in the interest of self-preservation, that this is what I think fucking happened. Why aren't you investigating it? That's insane that you think that police body cam footage that recorded her, because it wasn't like she was like, ooh, camera, ooh. It was, dude, you're here fucking with me. You're arresting me. You're taking my freedom away. And you want to use what she said against her in a defamation suit? On police body cam footage that can be construed as pure harassment. Think about that for a second. Pure harassment. That's since Karen Reed was acquitted for the of the murder of John O'Keefe, right? Since Karen Reed was acquitted, couldn't she argue, since she was innocent of the crime, can't she argue that she was harassed by the Massachusetts State Police, and that body cam footage and her being recorded was in a certain degree against her will? Because what if she told them, turn off your body camera? I don't want to get sued later. What do you think the cops would have said? They would have been like, no, the body camera is for our protection. And anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Okay. But you're trying to say that you're going to use body cam footage from a case that she was acquitted of as evidence that she defamed you? It's only public because you motherfuckers framed her. That's the only reason everyone knows about it. And that's the only reason anyone knows that Karen Reed said it. Hell, I wasn't even sure. It barely had that much influence on me. I've been covering this shit for 2.5 years. And now I'm telling you, I'm like, I don't even remember where the fuck she said that. So I'm telling you right now, my opinion of whether or not Brian or Colin or Brian Higgins or anybody who had anything, Jennifer McCabe, that none of those people, none of that, my opinions on whether or not those people did anything has nothing to do with Karen Reed sitting on body cam footage going, Brian Albert, Colin Albert. If anything, I listened to that and went, I agree with that or I don't agree with it. But it had no influence over my opinion and what I was going to say. To facilitate the spread and publication of her lies, Reed found and enlisted Carney. Let's read the footnote here. The complainant does not include each and every example of Reed and Carney's defamatory statements and conduct. Upon the conclusion of discovery, the plaintiffs will identify. Okay, it's just a disclaimer. Karen Reed during arrest. We're all in the same joke, right? Court TV, April. Okay, so it's Karen Reed's fault that the body cam footage was aired on Court TV. Get the fuck out of my face. You motherfuckers are out of your minds, dude. As of April 2023, Carney and Reed, through an intermediary and Reed's counsel, began communicating with one another. Oh, the intermediary being Natalie. Began communicating with one another to further Reed's defamatory scheme against the plaintiffs. Carney described the intermediary as a copy and paste vessel that just sent messages between Reed and him. Reed used his intermediary and her counsel to correspond with Carney to conceal the defendant's relationship and to create a basis upon which she could plausibly deny her role in Carney's false claims. Bullshit. No. Let me explain to you how that went down. Okay? I'm sure Aiden will explain it to you again, but we all already know how that fucking went down. They know how that went down. Natalie was just somebody who wanted to be involved. Natalie wanted to have a role and feel important. She needed to feel included. And she thought that she had some sort of power and leverage over TURTLEBOY to be able to be the vessel of information, the vessel between Karen Reed and TURTLEBOY, to be the vessel there that information passes to get to Aiden from Karen Reed. Karen Reed was a source to an independent journalist. And Natalie forced her way into that situation. She could have just put the two of them in touch with each other, but she didn't want that. That leaves her useless. So that's why there was an intermediary. Because TURTLEBOY would have gladly just been like, you know what? Because it ends up being where TURTLEBOY and Karen Reed end up being like, I don't know why the fuck her. She's an idiot and an asshole. I'm done with her. Karen was done with her. Right? Didn't that happen? And then they just started communicating. They saw that she was just trying to insert herself into this situation. And then they were like, why the fuck are we even dealing with her? Fuck her. Get her out of here. Piney Woods, thank you so much. Hey, Will. Great chat today. Yeah, thank you so much. And Shalaquin became a member. Welcome to Logic. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is bullshit. Pursuant to this scheme, Carney would publicize and widely decimate Reed's false claims about the plaintiffs and others in an effort to destroy the reputations of these individuals so that Reed could evade responsibility for causing the death of John O'Keefe. Pursuant to this scheme, Carney would publicize and widely decimate disseminate. I don't know why I had trouble with that word. Disseminate Reed's false claims about the plaintiffs and others in an effort to destroy the reputations of these individuals so that Reed could evade responsibility for causing the death of O'Keefe. As part of this scheme, Reed sought to launder defamatory material by gratuitously including it in pleadings filed with court. For example, on April 12, 2023, Reed, through her counsel, filed a discovery motion for a second time to obtain Brian Albert's phone, in which she falsely stated that Brian Albert and Colin Albert were responsible for O'Keefe's death and that McCabe was the mastermind who covered it up. Reed knew these statements were false. Okay. Lollipop member for 4 months. See what you're saying here. Member of the hoity-goity. Feel much better about this suit after hearing your breakdown. I think they're trying to jam him up in the courts for years to come. Well, they're just trying to shut him up. They're desperate to shut him up. Like, he's going to beat his criminal charges. And they're trying to do this before the criminal charges are beat. So think about it like this. Now, this is just a theory coming. This is an opinion of the Glare Institute of Law and stuff. And my opinion is that this is just the timing of this is desperate, okay? Because it looks better if they say Carney is currently under is currently facing criminal charges for witness intimidation, rather than Carney was facing, but a jury failed to find him guilty. That doesn't look as good on this lawsuit as he is currently facing criminal charges. So that looks better. So before he gets acquitted of his charges, they're going to file this lawsuit because it looks better. There's a better chance of winning, but there's no chance of them winning. I mean, it's inconsequential. This is not a real thing. It's a real lawsuit. What I'm saying is this is not a real problem. It's an annoyance. It's a major inconvenience is what this is. Reed, through her counsel, also attached several non-public documents to the filing that had zero relevance to the narrow issue before the court. The purpose, in part, of those extraneous non-public documents was to convey them surreptitiously to Carney, who then would amplify the public dissemination of the defamatory material, all in furtherance of the defendant's defamation scheme. For example, Reed attached an unredacted copy of the Canton Police Department's incident report that listed private addresses, cell phone numbers, and social security numbers for the plaintiffs. Reed made this filing in direct violation of Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court Rule 124 and did so for the purpose of giving this information to Carney so that he would further disseminate Reed's false claims. Stop. Okay. Let me read the footnote real quick. Andrea Burkhart, journalism, conversation with Dr. Turtleboy and Carney, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I guess they're using Andrea Burkhart's content as a reference here. Okay. So, in other words, what they're claiming, which is fucking fascinating. In other words, what they're claiming is Karen Reed and her attorneys filing a motion in her criminal matter where she's being accused of murdering a Boston police officer, her boyfriend, right? These people are so fucking important. Defaming them is so important that Karen would use a court filing and worked in concert with Aiden so that Aiden would take a public court filing and use that to relay information, not to prove Karen's innocence, not to create doubt, not to prove a third-party culprit theory, none of those things that actually matter, which is actually why someone would fucking put these things in a filing. But to conspire with Aiden Carney, with Dr. Turtleboy, to conspire with him to dox personal information and defame them. Because that's what Karen Reed is spending the millions that she spent on this defense. The funds that were raised to keep her head afloat and be able to fight these bullshit criminal charges. Here, she's going to waste that money and use resources from her defense team and file motions just to publicly defame the McAlberts. Not to defend herself in court. No, that's not the purpose of that. It's to defame, it's to pass information on to Turtleboy so that Turtleboy can use it and have content on his show. Because that tracks. Let me spend the however many hundreds to thousands of dollars it would take to just give this information to Turtleboy via a court filing so that he could share it. Sorry, but that doesn't prove that these two colluded to put information out there and to defame them. Because a public court filing means that any of us could have gotten it. And Turtleboy wasn't the only one to go over it. Many of us went over these things. Many of us are going to go over this. I'm going over it now. I'm sure Melanie Little is going to go over this. I can't wait till that happens. I'm sure a loophole lawyer is going to go over this. I'm sure Nurse Kim is going to go over this. I'm sure that a lot of different creators, Broken Baker will go over it. A lot of different creators, Emily C., who's in the chat, will no doubt go over this because it's the subject matter that we're all talking about here. Runkle will definitely go over it. Every creator that has talked about Karen Reed and or Turtleboy will go over this. We'll talk about this. Lawyer, we'll definitely talk about this. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well, Cherry. This is amazing. After this filing, Reed, through her intermediary, forwarded her April 12th filing to Carney for the purpose of Carney publishing and widely disseminating her false claims. With encouragement and direction from Reed, Carney published his first blog post days after receiving these false statements from Reed. Indeed, prior to Carney's April 18th, 2023 publication, Carney shared his draft blog with Reed through her intermediary, who provided Carney with dozens of corrections, which Carney understood to be from Reed. After Carney received and adopted these corrections, Reed, through her intermediary, texted Carney amazeballs sauce and thank you so much. Okay, so what? So what? Okay, so Aiden is the only one going over it. And Karen is going, yes, put this shit out there. I'm talking to you as a source because I need the public on my side. I am fighting a monster being the Massachusetts justice system, the Massachusetts corrupt justice system. And I need the public's help. Nana Banana, thank you so much for becoming a member. Kim Silvio, member for 8 months. Mo injected BS incoming in this suit. Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's definitely going to happen. Not you, Mo. 5150. That's definitely going to happen. We're going to talk about that too. Then on April 18th, 2023, the defendant's defamation campaign went public when Carney published the first 2 parts of his Canton cover-up series. In part 1, Carney stated that Jennifer McCabe did not kill John O'Keefe since she's not physically capable of that. Brian Albert, Colin Albert, and the dog were more than capable of that, and Colin Albert had the motive. McCabe, he did have the motive. McCabe, well, I mean, I thought the motive was a little weak. As soon as I heard about Higgins, I was like, nah, my money's on Higgins. McCabe was just the quarterback of the cover-up. He also explained that Jennifer McCabe would never been able to cover up this murder without the assistance of law enforcement. Carney admitted that he made these statements based on beliefs relayed to him by his sources, his sauces. Although not identified at the time, the sauces were Reed and her legal team. In part 2, Carney posted, hold on. Let's see what the footnote says. Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court Rule 124 prohibits the filing of personal identifying information in court documents without appropriate redactions to reduce the possibility of using such documents for identity theft, the unwarranted invasion of privacy, or other improper purposes. As of the date filing, this series is now up to 545 parts. Okay, so they're saying that the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Rule prohibits the filing. So they broke the law by filing the unredacted documents. So that's what they're saying. But I would love to hear a Massachusetts attorney, a licensed Massachusetts attorney talk about this. I can't wait to hear. Now, this is the thing is I don't think we're going to get to hear. This is the downside of this, folks. I don't think we're going to get to hear much from the Mighty One in regards to this, because now the Mighty One is on Aiden's team here. Now, I don't know if the Mighty One will be involved in Aiden's lawsuit, if he's going to be part of the defense team. So I don't know. But since he defends Aiden, I don't know how much he's going to be able to talk about this lawsuit. And I know he's a criminal lawyer. I get that. But I don't know if he's going to be a consultant on the team, or when I say his involvement, I don't know what that will entail, or if he will be involved at all. But I don't imagine that he is free to discuss this the way that he would be free to discuss, say, the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case or any other case like Karen Reed's case. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. Then on April 18th, 2023, the defendant's defamation campaign went public when Carney published. Oh, I already read that. Footnotes. Aiden Carney can't cover part 1, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so in part 2, Carney posted screenshots of people's messages to him that were critical of his defamatory statements. He made no effort to redact the names and proceeded to publicly mock them. Carney claimed that most people are shocked and outraged about the mountain of evidence indicating that O'Keefe was killed by fellow BPD Sergeant Brian Albert, his nephew Colin Albert, and possibly others. In reality, this blog post by Carney, like numerous other defamatory statements that he made, was funneled by Reed to her accomplice, Carney, with knowledge that he would publish it. To Fox News, Carney later explained that after he published the beginning of his Canton cover-up series, his blog exploded. He had a record-setting audience with over 500,000 views. Elsewhere, Carney explained that he would first go live on his YouTube channel. He would usually have about 300 live viewers, but he had over 2,000 on the first night during his first live stream about the Canton cover-up. Okay? Congratulations. Good for him. With this newly found audience, Carney was now able to disseminate Reed's false narrative to an even larger audience. Yeah, that's the idea. But it's not a false narrative. That's the problem with that. As Reed intended. Indeed, given the success of the first show in publishing and disseminating Reed's false narrative to a wider audience, Reed's intermediary told Carney that Reed's counsel, Jackson and Yannetti, wanted to speak directly with Carney. The conversation between Carney and Reed's counsel occurred on April 20th, 2023, in which they spoke about Reed's campaign. Carney secretly recorded that conversation. The footnote here says, Aiden Carney Canton cover-up part 2. Family and friends demand that we stop reporting factual things about framing Karen Reed for John O'Keefe's murder and covering up for killers. And yeah, these are just the reference points. 2 days after speaking directly to Reed's counsel on April 22nd, 2023, Carney made additional false statements at the direction of Karen Reed. In episode 575 of his weekend live show, Carney repeated Reed's false claim that O'Keefe was killed inside 34 Fairview during a fight with Colin Albert and or Brian Albert. Again, if Karen didn't strike John O'Keefe with a vehicle and John O'Keefe was struck with a vehicle, well, then he had to have been inside the house, and somebody in that house must have killed him. During that show, Carney also used the phone numbers that Reed and her counsel intentionally made public in their April 12th, 2023 Rule 17 motion. Carney used those numbers to call McCabe and Brian Albert and directly accused them both of cover-up. Carney's voicemail left on Brian Albert's phone asked, "Did you kill John O'Keefe or was it your nephew Colin? And are you covering for him? How did your dog get downstairs and begin biting Mr. O'Keefe?" Later in the April 22nd, 2023 show, Carney shared images of the Canton Police Department's incident report, distributing to his thousands of followers the private addresses, phone numbers, and social security numbers of the plaintiffs. Social security numbers, Jesus. As a direct result, incident report. Why would there be social security numbers in an incident report? That makes no sense. And if the incident report is public record, then shouldn't the incident report have been redacted in the first place? Right? No? I don't know. As a direct result of Carney publicizing their personal identifying information, which he received from Reed, the plaintiffs who were not generally recognized or responsible for O'Keefe's death began to experience disturbing levels of defamation, harassment, and abuse by members of Carney's audience. Now, there's a reason for this. The reason why that is, McAlberts, is because Carney is the one who is responsible for uncovering and making a large stink, shining a bright light on the Karen Reed case. And the Karen Reed case contains tons of public record, information that is public record, tons of it. And the fact of the matter is people with common sense who looked into these things, they didn't just go, oh my God, some guy named TURTLEBOY says that Karen Reed is innocent and that the people who were inside 34 Fairview must have been responsible. If TURTLEBOY says so, then it must be true. That's not what happened. What happened is that there was a lot of public information. And people like me who think objectively and independently looked into this information and drew independent conclusions and then said, okay, let's listen to this TURTLEBOY guy. He's got something to say. And that every single thing that Aiden said on his show in regards to his opinions about what happened inside 34 Fairview was taken by me with a grain of salt. I can't speak for everyone else, but I could say that as a person who takes pride in having some common sense, I could tell you that TURTLEBOY had no influence over my opinion. I just enjoyed listening to his commentary about his opinions that happened to be pretty aligned with mine, which is why I continue to watch Aiden TURTLEBOY, because I find him to be entertaining. I find him to be insightful and entertaining, but it doesn't mean that I depend on him for information. Liz88 gifted a membership. Again, thank you so much, Liz88. Oh my God, we got to do it. This is exactly what Reed intended when she began to use Carney to disseminate and publish her false story. Indeed, minutes after Carney's April 22nd, 2023 broadcast ended, Yannetti, who was watching the live broadcast, messaged Carney congratulating him. That was priceless, dude. Great fucking show. Really enjoyed the turtle reporting. Okay. All right. What I'm not seeing is them going, hey, great job reporting the information that we spoon-fed to you and that we conspired in order to defame the names of people, to defame the people that were inside 34 Fairview. Hey, great job spinning a false narrative. I didn't see that. I saw, hey, watch the show. Great show. And that's what sucks, man. I wish I got more fucking compliments, from these people that I respect so much. So no wonder why they don't do it. I'm going to say that's why. I'm not going to say it's because they don't give a shit about my show. I'm going to say it's because they're afraid of dickheads like the McAlberts using it against them in a fucking lawsuit. That's why David Yannetti doesn't publicly compliment my show, because it might be used against him. That's why. Yeah, that's the ticket. Reed and her counsel repeatedly deceived the public about Reed's coordination and relationship with Carney, in part because they knew that using Carney as a defamation mouthpiece could subject Reed to civil liability for defamation and related civil misconduct. Jesus Christ. Give me a fucking break. Wait. I lost my place. Okay, here we go. For example, during a September 23rd Boston Magazine interview, December 23 Boston Magazine interview, Reed and her counsel stated that they had never been in contact with Carney. This statement was false and intended to hide the fact that Carney was carrying out Reed's defamatory scheme. Okay. That's simply not true. Like, I would absolutely fucking deny that shit myself. I would absolutely fucking deny that shit during the time because they were in the middle of a fucking criminal trial. It was in the middle of it. There's no way I would fucking sit there and be like, yeah, me and Turtle Boy, sure. No fucking way. For example, during a blah, 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 blah. Moreover, 20 months after telling Carney that his April 22nd, 2023 show accusing McCabe, Brian Albert, and Colin Albert of being involved in the death of John O'Keefe was a great fucking show, Yannetti disavowed Reed's relationship with Carney. In an address he gave at Boston College Law School on November 11, 2024, regarding Reed's first trial, Yannetti said he had concerns about Carney and that he was someone you want to keep at arm's length. Yannetti also said, notwithstanding his undisclosed direct and indirect communications and coordination with Carney, that Carney's tactics are not the tactics of a refined defense attorney. Dude, again, bro, let me tell you something. Now, I don't know how Aiden necessarily sees himself, but I consider myself to be a pretty self-aware guy. I pride myself on having more self-awareness than the average Joe. Okay? I like that about myself, and I make a conscious effort to be this way. And I don't know if Aiden follows the same process or not. I don't know what he does. But see, I am aware that I am what is generally commonly referred to as a bad look. I use the word retarded in a very politically incorrect manner. I use the word gay in a very politically incorrect manner. I use words like cunt. And these are things that a lot of people who are considered to be professional people don't necessarily want to be associated with. Sometimes they don't give a fuck, and that's cool. And I'm grateful for that. But I also don't hold it against people who have professional titles and have a professional image to maintain, to be like, yeah, dude, sorry, that's not exactly cool. But at least fucking, say that. You know what I mean? I've had people lie about it and be like, oh, well, there's it's a copyright thing, and I have a PR person that says that blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up, okay? Just say it. You're a bad look. I can live with that. I'm okay with being a bad look. It's the cost of me being, not holding back. Now, I know that Aiden operates with that same attitude. Like, I am who I am, and I want people to like me for me. I'm not going to sit here and cater to what people want in order to fucking, gain more followers. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having public associations with certain people who may or may not, who may respect me, but just feel like, oh, dude, I mean, some shit you said on your show the other day, I don't know if I want to be associated with that. I understand that. That's okay. I'm not mad at anybody for that, because I understand that's the risk. That's what comes with being me without holding back. I'm sure Aiden feels the same way about what he's doing. So, and I'm sure he understood that. And there's nothing personal. I've done fundraisers. I did a fundraiser for Aiden, and David Yannetti and Bob Alessi jumped on the fundraiser. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about here, because they absolutely support Aiden and what he does. They may not support his methods necessarily, but they understand why he does what he does. And they understand, and they support free speech. And even though they may not engage in the same behavior that he does, they still support his right to do it. So this little, I mean, why put this in the filing? Okay, so David Yannetti does, they used TurtleBoy for information to pass on information before, but now, you know, now they don't like him. Okay, so what does that mean? Because I'm sure that fundraiser for Aiden was fucking was pretty recent in comparison to this this statement at Boston College Law School. So then they move on to Alan Jackson here, and they say, similarly, Jackson publicly denied communicating and coordinating with Carney. In an October 18th, 2024 interview, Jackson denied involving Carney in Reed's public strategy. Yet during the same interview, Reed acknowledged she had communicated with Carney frequently, but she limited that disclosure. Okay, so Jackson denied. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean anything. That means that Reed communicated with Carney frequently. That doesn't mean that they were strategizing or even talking about the case. It just means that Karen Reed texted him and said, yo, what's up, bro? Did you catch that last episode of fucking Yellowstone? That shit was a doozy. That could have been all that meant. Jackson denied involving Carney in Reed's public strategy. Okay. Oh, wait a second. We need a little, hold on.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat.
How dare
Rusty Bed Springs. Got it. Loophole Lawyer is going to jump on Aiden's team pro bono. He's been begging for this. We'll see. 1977, Felicia, thank you so much. Within the last week, Yannetti sent Aiden a really nice text. He read it on a bus stop live. I mean, yeah, these people are fucking retarded, dude. Reed acknowledged she had communicated with Carney frequently, but she limited that disclosure, claiming that the two only spoke in the months leading up to her March 2024 criminal trial. So what? This is fucking amazing. So this is Gretchen Voss. These footnotes are just listing sources and whatever. On April 24th, 2023, Carney published part 10 of his Canton cover-up series, wherein he again accused McCabe of covering up a murder and pretending to be a compassionate person while a completely innocent woman faces decades in prison. In response, Reed, throughout her intermediary, messaged Carney stating, please tell Carney the article might be his best so far. Carney responded, really? That from her? The intermediary replied, yup. Since April 2023, Carney has published, and again, that's just her complimenting him on his article. No different than Aiden Carney, other than circumstances, no different than Aiden Carney, a.k.a. Dr. Turtleboy, a.k.a. Mr. Media, going to his kid's game and then giving his kid a high five and saying, great goal you just scored. Way to go. No fucking different. In the spirit of encouragement, in the spirit of personal and spiritual encouragement, she said, hey, that was one of the best articles you've written so far. Way to go. Good for you. Well done, sir. Very happy. What's up, Danny? Since April 2023, Carney has published 545 parts to his Canton cover-up series, along with the countless other pieces of content, including posts on X and YouTube, falsely claiming that the plaintiffs were responsible for O'Keefe's death. Carney's content has spanned thousands of tweets, hundreds of blog posts, hundreds of YouTube videos, and countless other public statements across a variety of platforms. Carney has also continued to spread his harmful defamatory statements in interviews with multiple sources. The conspiracy continues. Reed and Carney continued communicating before, during, and after her trials to coordinate their defamation of the plaintiffs. Reed and Carney agreed to act in concert and use their defamation of the plaintiffs to subvert the Commonwealth's prosecution to attract an audience and to monetize that audience and their celebrity. In furtherance of this scheme, Reed regularly funneled non-public information to Carney using tradecrafts such as intermediary so that Carney could selectively publish at Reed's behest certain non-public material for the purpose of casting false suspicion on the plaintiffs and away from Reed. Reed instructed Carney to falsely claim that he had not received information from Reed when, in fact, he had done exactly that. For example, on April 23rd, 2023, despite having already publicly accused Colin Albert of O'Keefe's murder at Reed's direction and encouragement, Carney inquired of Reed's intermediary regarding how Reed knew that Colin Albert was ever at 34 Fairview on January 29, 2022, after O'Keefe allegedly arrived. In response, Reed, through the intermediary, responded, "Brian and Nicole and Chris and Julie all testified he was there, but I can't send grand jury testimony because it's sealed." That statement was not true, and no witness ever testified that Colin Albert was at 34 Fairview on January 29th after Reed's vehicle arrived at that location. So they're denying ever saying that. That same day, Reed also informed Carney through the intermediary about the details of the alleged non-public ongoing separate investigation, apparently related to law enforcement's investigation of O'Keefe's death. In a message to Carney, Reed, through the intermediary, stated, "Not public. The feds have been involved longer than anyone is likely guessing." Moreover, on December 1st, 2023, Carney posted a YouTube video in which he included audio that had been recovered from O'Keefe's phone by investigators. Wearing a Jackson Yannetti 2024 t-shirt that is for sale on his website, it is, make sure to go out and get one. Carney played audio from a voicemail from Reed was leaving on for O'Keefe at the time she found O'Keefe's body, incidentally capturing McCabe calling 911. At the time of Carney's YouTube video, only the Commonwealth, Reed, and Reed's legal team possessed that audio file. Yeah, I played that first. I played that before Aiden played it. I'm not saying I had it before he had it. I'm saying I played it before he played it, I think. Let me see something real quick, folks. It's clip time.
Against that. The same corrupt copper, the devices, the zero of them in there. They want to see who my sources are. They want to see who's sending me information because they want to retaliate against that. The same corrupt cops who I have been exposing for several months now are now trying to hold on to my device.
Listen for it.
So that they can go through it and find out.
Wait for it.
And telling the truth about their criminal behavior. And we saw it today with the release of a previously unseen, I believe it was on a YouTube channel called The Glare, a previously unseen
Who?
video of a 911 call
Who?
Jennifer called The Glare, a previously unseen. I believe it was on a YouTube channel called The Glare, a previously unseen video of a 911.
Holler at your boy. Eventually, Reed and Carney started communicating directly for the purpose of sharing information, coordinating the timing of defamatory publications, and aligning Reed's litigation strategy with their shared public defamation campaign. To do so, Reed utilized Signal, an encrypted messaging system that avoids detection and aids deletion of communications. Reed and Carney ultimately exchanged over 189 phone calls, totaling more than 40 hours in 2023 alone, not including the countless messages exchanged through Signal. In conspiring with Carney to defame the plaintiffs, Reed knew that Carney's and her statements blaming plaintiffs for the murder of John O'Keefe were false, because in reality, she was responsible for O'Keefe's death, even though she was acquitted. And 2 juries basically found her not guilty. In furtherance of the scheme, on May 3rd, 2023, Carney met with Reed, Jackson, and Yannetti for the purpose of coordinating Carney's extrajudicial defamatory publications with Reed's litigation and media strategy. The same day and after the meeting with Reed and her counsel, Carney posted a YouTube video. Clever, knock that off. A YouTube video. Carney posted a YouTube video reacting to Carney's to Jackson's press conference after a court appearance. During this video, Carney stated John O'Keefe was murdered by Brian Albert and Colin Albert, and that freaking dog and every other single person in that house who remains quiet to this day and participated in the lie. They're all guilty of murder as far as I'm concerned. They're participating in it by accusing every other person in that house. Carney intended to include McCabe and Higgins in his defamatory statement, a fact that his followers would have understood in light of prior publications. That freaking dog. Yep. I have some audio footage of Chloe's current location. I have hold on, let me pull that up. I picked this up, some audio footage of Chloe's current location. You're gonna have to listen carefully. Listen. Yep, that would do it. That'll be it. The McCabe's have the look of evil in them. In a subsequent blog post, he continued, "The McCabe's have the look of evil in them when you see them in person. These are people with no shame and aren't the least bit deterred by the fact that millions of people know that they have participated in the murder and subsequent cover-up of a murder of a Boston police officer." Days later, on May 30th, 2023, Carney published the part 43 of his Canton cover-up series, wherein he discussed McCabe yet again, referring to her as a horse face and reposting a video that Carney previously took confronting McCabe and calling her a cop killer. Notably, the blog posted the denial of an ex parte harassment prevention order that McCabe sought against Carney in Stoughton District Court based on his repeated public harassment of her. However, McCabe's HPO request was not public information. Instead, Carney received this information directly from an HPO, directly from Reed's counsel, Yannetti, who sent a text message to Carney that McCabe's request for an HPO had been made and denied. In particular, Yannetti wrote to Carney, HPO denied. Let's see. Let's see something real quick. Oh. Yeah, never mind. Let's see. Then on June 6, 2023, McCabe traveled with her husband to attend their children's sporting event in Billerica, Massachusetts. That's totally how you say it. Carney traveled to the same event at Reed's behest with the purpose of accosting the McCabes, which he did in a video that he posted online. Sorry, I'm looking at these footnotes and I want to see if I could pull up. Never mind. Carney then wrote a blog post about the interaction, saying Jen and Matt McCabe do not deserve to live a normal life and pretend that they weren't involved in murdering a Boston police officer. In a subsequent video, I was trying to avoid that. Thank you. For those of you who are about to say bless you, I appreciate it. In a subsequent video, Carney again discussed his harassment of the McCabe family, stating, "I went to her kid's lacrosse game and made a scene there and got kicked out because I kept calling her a cop killer." I mean, by definition, if you knew his body was out in the snow at 2:27 a.m., you could have ran into the house and gotten help. I mean, even if you didn't make the search at 2:27 a.m., you could have ran into the house, got your brother-in-law, who is a fucking first responder, woke him up and tried to save your friend's life. But you both ignored it. So, in my eyes, you're both fucking cop killers. On July 23rd, 2023, Carney met with Reed and Jackson again in person. The purpose of this meeting was for Reed, Jackson, and Carney to meet with a national CBS News correspondent over dinner at a steakhouse in downtown Boston to discuss Reed's criminal case. This meeting occurred the day after a rolling rally organized by Carney took place, where nearly 50 cars drove in tandem through the streets of Canton expressing their support for Reed. During the rally, Carney stopped at the homes of Brian Albert and McCabe, who was at home at the time, shouting into a bullhorn that Brian Albert and McCabe were covering up John O'Keefe's murder. Carney's behavior at the rally enjoyed the support of Reed and her legal team. Indeed, the day of the rally, Yannetti messaged Carney, "Thank you for your continued support." The next day, Carney hosted this weekend live show on YouTube. During his show, Carney stated that Jen McCabe killed or helped to kill. Let's keep it a buck. That's what she did. She killed John O'Keefe. He proceeded to question why O'Keefe's family was associating with McCabe by stating, "Jen McCabe killed her uncle, and then you're escorting her to the fucking orientation. And Jen McCabe killed your son. She fucking killed him." On August 9th, 2023, Carney published part 96 of his Canton cover-up series. He began his blog post by explaining the movement for justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed continues to grow by the day. Although TURTLEBOY was the first media outlet to really dig deep into this story, it has taken a life of its own, independent of our award-winning journalism. The Facebook group, and there you go. It has taken a life of its own, independent of our award-winning journalism. The Facebook group dedicated to discussion of this topic has nearly 20,000 members and is one of the more active groups you will see on the platform. In his post, Carney bragged about the fact that he was able to amass his followers with well over 100 cars and at least 200 to 300 people scattered everywhere in front of the McCabe home. He included pictures of himself wearing a Free Karen Reed t-shirt next to someone wearing the t-shirt sold by Carney. Carney lambasted the Canton police chief by stating, "It is disgusting and pathetic that this public official is treating a cop killer like the victim of a crime. This is the problem. The McCabes and the Alberts are treated as royalty in this town, and they know that the police will go out of their way to protect them. This is why they felt so emboldened to kill a man, frame a woman, and think they could get away with it," Carney stated. "It's painfully obvious to anyone with a brain that the McCabes and Alberts murdered John O'Keefe." I agree. On September 5th, 2023, Carney directed remarks in a YouTube video towards Chris Albert, the father of Colin Albert. He bragged, "I go down to your pizza shop and I stand out there for an hour and yell shit about your son. I just shit all over your child, Chris. I go down there and I shit all over him and I accuse him of some of the most heinous things possible, and I affect business. People don't want to go into your business because of the things that I'm saying. I'm telling cars going by what your family did and what you're being accused of and what you've done to cover this thing up and what a scumbag you are and how you don't pay your bills." Because he wasn't paying his taxes. Chris Albert, that is. By early September 2023, Reed's team was concerned that the police were potentially going to charge Carney with witness harassment. If that were to happen, Reed's counsel, Yannetti, expressed concern to Carney that if that happens, then a judge prohibits you from having contact with witnesses. This prospect concerned Reed, Yannetti, and Jackson this prospect concerned Reed, Yannetti, and Jackson. Since they feared silencing Carney would impact the defendant's campaign against the plaintiffs. Indeed, on September 9th, 2023, I don't know why I almost said January, 2023, Yannetti messaged Carney regarding the plaintiffs, stating, "These bastards deserve all the scorn we're giving them." With Carney silenced, the scorn Reed intended to entice might diminish. Now, let's just say these things are true. Let's say, give me 1 second here, folks. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so let's just say these things are true, right? I promise you that the answer to 99 out of 100 questions is what? I've said this a million times. What is the answer to 99 out of 100 questions, people? Yeah, and this is all bullshit that that 5150 leaked. No, sex is not the answer to 99 out of 100 questions. Jesus Christ. Money, you motherfuckers. Money, people. Karen Reed was reliant on public support. Aiden Carney was instrumental in garnering that support, in perpetuating and growing this support. Karen Reed had to sell her house to pay for her defense team, to defend herself against an entire local government. I'm asking math questions. No, I'm not. They needed the public support. They needed TURTLEBOY for that public support. Now, this is not stuff that was told to me. This is not something that I read somewhere. This is not anything of that nature. This is me using my eyes for the past 2.5 fucking years and seeing exactly how this machine works. Okay? Fact is, lawyers cost money. A defense costs money. Experts cost money. Travel costs money. Karen had to sell her house. Karen no longer had a job. Karen no longer had any source of income, but she required an entire criminal defense team because she was fighting an entire local government. She needed our support. These people weren't conspiring to make them look like bad guys. Karen Reed, members of Karen Reed's legal team were merely expressing appreciation for the financial support that TURTLEBOY was largely responsible for. That's it. It's not that hard to put together. In addition to using Carney as a tool to seed the public discourse with defamatory material, Reed, through her counsel, also hired a private investigator, Sarah Ness. Ness had previously worked with Jackson in connection with his representation of disgraced sex offender Harvey Weinstein and was deployed in that case to discredit victims of Weinstein's crimes. Jesus, that's pathetic. That's a reach. On September 17th, 2023, at the direction of Reed and Jackson, Ness visited the home of Higgins. Reed and Jackson directed Ness to question Higgins and other witnesses using tactics similar to those used against victims and witnesses in the Weinstein criminal trial. While Ness confronted Higgins, who Reed and her counsel knew was represented counsel but at the time, Reed and her counsel watched from a blacked out SUV, with Reed texting Carney in real time about Ness's efforts. Sorry in the car with the lawyers, stirring shit up again. Wow. When Higgins refused to speak with Ness, Reed texted Carney again, this time seeking the address of Sarah Levinson, another witness who would ultimately testify against Reed. Following Higgins' refusal to cooperate with Ness, the defendants directed additional defamation and defamatory conduct at him. Following Higgins' refusal to cooperate with Ness, the defendants directed additional defamation and defamatory conduct at him as federal law enforcement special agent with covert and undercover responsibilities. Higgins suffered profound damage to his career as a result of the defendant's false and widely publicized statements that Higgins was involved in O'Keefe's murder. Okay, stop. So now Higgins' reputation as a fucking ATF agent is fucked because of TURTLEBOY and Karen Reed. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here, dude. How about you throwing your fucking phone away? Got you fucking got you a bad reputation as an ATF agent? How about you using fucking federal resources for personal shit, which was against policy, got you a bad reputation as an ATF agent? How about you texting with a woman who is practically married, who is dating this guy, who she called him her husband and you his friend, and you're texting with her behind her back, trying to get her? How about you acting like a fucking ambiguously gay weirdo at the fucking Waterfall Bar and Grill on security footage, sitting there grab-assing with fucking Brian Albert, sitting there fucking wrestling around and grabbing him from behind, and y'all grabbing each other from behind and going, oh, I'm gayer than you. Oh, I'm gayer than you. Nuh-uh, I'm gayer than you. Nuh-uh, nuh-uh, nuh-uh.
Ha! Gay!
Like, dude, how about that's the kind of shit that made you lose respect as an ATF agent? Like, let's get fucking real, bro. Stop it. Look at this shit. Following Higgins' refusal to... So this implies that Higgy has a bad name publicly because it's retaliation, because that he wouldn't talk to Sarah Ness or whatever the fuck her name is. Karen Reed's investigator. Alan Jackson's, Weinstein fucking, attack dog. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. So you're saying that because Higgy refused to cooperate with this fucking dumb bitch, that now she reports this shit back to Karen Reed, and then Karen Reed reports it back to Turtle Boy, and then they're sitting there going like this, going, yeah, Higgy wouldn't talk. Do it. Yes, the Falcon has landed. Put the wheels in motion. Like, that's not what happened, dude. So that they go, okay, now we're gonna trash Higgy. We're gonna trash Higgy all together. We're gonna destroy his entire reputation. And then what? We're gonna do what? We're gonna make him lie on the stand, make him bring a lawyer with him to a murder trial and lie on the stand because he's the only one with fucking motive. Get real, bro. Like, it's retaliation. Higgy getting the reputation that he's gotten is retaliation because Karen didn't like the fact that he wouldn't cooperate with Sarah Ness, whoever the fuck that is. Like, I get that she's probably a nice person. Sorry for calling her a dumb bitch. I just meant she's insignificant to all this shit. It's really stupid. Bridget Pike, thank you so much. We need to support Turtle Boy and Karen Reed. I agree 100%. And it's pinned to the bottom of the chat. Turtle Boy Defense Fund and Kelsey Fitzsimmons Support Fund is all there. Following Higgins' refusal to cooperate with Ness. Okay, I already read that. He suffered profound damage to his career as a result of the defendant's false and widely publicized statements. No. That was a result of his fucking crazy, not so ATF-like behavior, bro. Unreal. Let's see. Individuals have traveled to Higgins' residence for the purpose of taking photographs and videos. Higgins has been surveilled, and individuals inspired by Reed's and Carney's defamation campaign have trespassed and vandalized his property. Carney himself has personally harassed Higgins by visiting Higgins' residence on multiple occasions for the purpose of confronting him and generating content to be published and platforms to be published on platforms that Carney controls. Like, stop it, dude. You hear that, Sixth Stream Channel? You hear that? You hear that, Randall? Apparently, Higgy calling into your show was TurtleBoy. It is actually TurtleBoy's platform. Higgy called into your show, which is actually TurtleBoy's platform. So it's actually TurtleBoy's show, by the way. You got that, Sixth Stream Channel? Amazing.
Oh, here we go.
I think we got a super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat. Super cat. Super cat. Super cat. I think we got a super cat.
How dare you?
Carrie Cove, thank you so much. We missed your lives, even with your new jaw exercises. Yeah. I hope that's not too, I can't hear, so I don't know. But yeah, this is wild, bro. This is wild. So yeah, according to the McAlberts, the Sixth Stream Channel is also a TurtleBoy platform. Just so you know. On September 19th, 2023, Carney hosted his weekday live show. In his show, Carney stated, "What I'm saying right now is I'm not saying this is a matter of opinion. I'm saying this is a matter of fact that Jen McCabe participated in killing and planning to kill and cover up the murder of John O'Keefe. I'm saying that it is not my opinion. That is fact." He went on to taunt McCabe by exclaiming, "Jen McCabe participated in killing John O'Keefe, so sue me. Why don't you just sue me? Because you did it. Because she did it. That's why, because she did it." Like, I'm picturing Bradle and Betterow both reading this and going, "Oh God." Like, right when they get to that point, just going, "Oh fuck." Yeah, I was there. Because I also remember the rant that took place after that. The rant that took place after that was very, very funny because he explains why it would be so fucking stupid of them to sue. And we already talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Now these people are subject to deposition by TurtleBoy's attorneys. Now attorneys that are under TurtleBoy's employ get to ask the McAlberts questions in regards to the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. And I'm fucking here for it. I am fucking here for it. During the same live show, Carney also called McCabe's brother-in-law, Bob Galvin, after someone sent Carney a $10 to his Cash App with Mr. Galvin's number. Carney left a voicemail for Mr. Garvin in which he claimed, Among other things, your sister-in-law, Jen, she done killed that motherfucker. Thrilled by the level of exposure and overall impact that Carney's publications were having on Reed's defamation campaign, Reed messaged Carney through Signal on September 29th, 2023, stating, "Look at what you've done to their reputations and to my jury pool. Chris Albert's business is the next casualty, just a matter of time." Reed was referring to the public degradation of the reputations of, among others, the plaintiffs. Among the same time, Reed and Carney became administrators of the Facebook group Justice for Officer John O'Keefe and Karen Reed, TURTLEBOY Official. As administrators, Carney and Reed maintained complete control over the Facebook group, including the ability to approve or deny posts, delete posts or comments, and approve or deny new members. The group became a feeding ground for defamatory and harassing posts made regarding the plaintiffs. Reed personally posted in the group on several occasions, including instances where she shared confidential information regarding her criminal case that had not been previously made known to the public. On March 12th, 2024, Carney posted a 2-hour recap following one of the last court appearances before Reed's first trial. In the video, Carney stated, "We called them murderers because they are. They are. They murdered John O'Keefe, and I will not shut up about that. You can call them witnesses all you fucking want. They murdered John O'Keefe. That is a fact. That is undeniable. We don't know who delivered the fatal blow, but they all fucking did it." Carney attempted to justify his harassment and defamation by the plaintiffs by claiming that they deserved it. For example, Carney admitted that he harassed McCabe at her daughter's lacrosse game and attempted to justify that conduct as follows. Well, guess what? Jennifer McCabe, you murdered a Boston police officer. She doesn't have to. She doesn't have a right to not be asked questions in public about that. You murdered someone. You don't get to just walk around like none of this happened. Thank you so much, Megan Sue. Here's the important question. If John was not hit by a car, let's say he fell alone, why move him? Why Google? Why be shady? My opinion is my opinion. Right. I agree with all that. Yeah. 1977 Felicia says, as the founder of the Glare Institute of Law and Stuff, I believe that qualifies you to ask at least a few questions in their depositions. That would be nice. I would like that. Unfortunately, I feel as though that requires also me passing the bar, which is not required for you to graduate from the Glare Institute of Law and Stuff. Unfortunately, you do have to pass the bar and in order to practice law in any way, shape, or form. And we do not provide you with the means at the Glare Institute of Law and Stuff to pass the bar. And so you will not be, I am not legally licensed to practice law in the state of Massachusetts. Let's see. Carney attempted to justify his harassment and defamation of the plaintiffs by claiming that they deserved it. For example, Carney admitted that he harassed McCabe at her daughter's lacrosse game and attempted to justify that conduct as follows. Oh, I already read that. My bad. Before launching the defamation campaign with Reed against the plaintiffs, Carney's YouTube channel only had 25,000 subscribers. Before the first trial, Carney's followers had ballooned to 70,000 YouTube subscribers. Carney's willingness to work with Reed and his conduct is based on twin motives: greed and fame. Carney's business model relies on his ability to attract an audience by spreading outrage and mistrust, including most centrally through his defamatory statements about the plaintiffs. It is a very lucrative business model. Carney and Reed have built an audience and personal celebrity by spreading these false narratives. No, okay. Karen Reed has built fame, as you put it. Karen Reed has built fame by being accused. You guys made her famous. If Karen Reed hadn't been falsely accused of the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe, she would not be famous. And she would not have been falsely accused of the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe had you motherfuckers not framed her for it. So that's Karen. That covers Karen. TURTLEBOY wouldn't be famous, wouldn't be nearly as famous if you guys hadn't weaponized the law to charge him and martyr him as a crusader for free speech. He wouldn't be nearly as famous. Yeah, he'd have some fame as the person who uncovered the care. But now that you guys charged him, and now that the world is talking about this, and anybody who gives a fuck about free speech is following his case, again, this is all you guys. You guys did this shit. He's not famous and making money off of talking about how you guys are guilty of covering up the murder of Boston police officer John O'Keefe. That's not how he's making his money. I mean, that's a little gas, sure. You know, but the overall fact is he's famous for speaking the truth. He's relatively famous. He is locally famous in Massachusetts because of this. Because the people there feel something and see something, and nothing's being done about it. And there's nobody to complain to. There's nobody to write a letter to. Governor Healy's not doing anything. Governor Healy's part of the problem. But somebody decided to use their voice and become very, very loud. And the people of Massachusetts who are affected by all of this shit find Aiden to be inspiring. The fact that he's loud about it. They find that to be inspiring. They get behind him for it. Because they're like, finally, it's all in the air, in the air of finally somebody's speaking up. Finally, we're getting some attention out here in Massachusetts. Because you got me in Tennessee talking about it. You got Bob and Ali Mata in Chicago talking about it. You got Ian Runkle talking about it from fucking Canada. You had fucking Rackets talking about it from Massachusetts. You got Melanie Little talking about it from New York. And you got Lawyer talking about it, where he's got everybody. He's got people from fucking everywhere. And we all got people from everywhere. So, I mean, there's a reason for that. It's not because it's fun to talk shit about. It's not because it's fun to talk shit. And Baker is in fucking. Where's Baker? Baker's Danish, right? Yeah, Denmark. Baker's in fucking Denmark. I mean, you got all of these different creators, man. You got all of these different creators that are based somewhere but get so much coverage from all different areas. And this isn't even like to sit here and act like, oh, well, that he's just spreading mistrust and outrage. That's what, no, man. Like, the mistrust was already there. He merely expressed it in a manner of which the people who share the same mistrust can relate to him. That's it. People, like-minded people who already don't trust the government in Massachusetts. This is your fault. Like, you're part of this. The McAlberts, who are revered in Canton, they're part of this corrupt system. They have friends. I mean, Chris Albert had Ken Mello on speed dial, dude. President doesn't give a shit about what's going on in Massachusetts. Not really. I mean, not in comparison to the other shit he's dealing with. That's what governors are for. But the governor is part of the problem, right? So, if this is a country of the people, by the people, for the people, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is also a state in the United States of America, a country that is of the country, of the people, by the people, for the people. A person, one of the people, spoke up. One of the people demanded answers. And a lot of other people who demand answers started listening to him. And people all around the country started listening to him. And then people all around the world are now listening. It's too fucking bad, McAlberts, that the facts dictate that you guys are shady as fuck. It's too fucking bad that you guys decided to lie. It's too fucking bad that the Massachusetts State Police and the Canton Police Department decided to fucking fuck up an entire murder investigation of a Boston police officer and not do their jobs. So let's just say Karen Reed did this. The people that you should be suing is the Massachusetts State Police and those members. They're not revered. They suck ass. I agree. Carney holds himself out as a trusted reporter, regularly referring to himself as an award-winning journalist and a truth teller, when in fact he is nothing more than a willing purveyor of and a vessel of defamatory material that Reed fed him to publish for her own self-purposes. Once Carney captures his audience's attention with outrageous claims, he exploits their anger and mistrust by urging them to pay him money in exchange for products that echo the false worldview he promotes. That's fucking bullshit. In his internet-based shows and content, Carney hawks merchandise exploiting the Canton cover-up, his dishonest characterization of events, a Boston cop possibly being involved in murdering another cop, followed by an elaborate cover-up designed to frame the murdered cop's girlfriend. I mean, that's what happened. A design featuring a Massachusetts license plate with the word "framed" as the number, and a T-shirt featuring the text of a Google search that Carney has repeatedly lied about, to name just a few. Carney consistently hustles his followers to donate directly to him on his homepage and in his posts. His YouTube features a defense fund where followers continue to send him money in his pursuit of defending free speech. And during his live streams, he shares the names of messages of people who donate to him directly while watching his content. Right. For example, during his live stream, he listed that Stephanie sends $10 and says, Brian Higgins, car front of mailbox. How does that work? Help. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Jim Ferris Bueller sends $5 and says, hey, Liberace, the shirt's going to irritate your nips. Jason EMT sends $5. No comment. Thank you, Jason EMT. Carrie sends $5 and says, what news station is covering the trial? All of them. All of them. Brooks sends $2.50, says free Karen Reed. And can you say hi, Jennifer? Hi, Jennifer. Greg sends $50 and says class of 94. We love you, John. Great to see that. Great to see that. Great. Thank you very much, Greg. Okay. And Laura sends $10 and says, please wear that shirt to court Tuesday. After personally recognizing his followers, Carney goes on to direct his other followers to donate to him at the link on his website directly through Cash App. Yeah. Did you guys ever think that part of the reason for that? First of all, that's just good. That's just good marketing. Like, that's how you get donos to come in. People want their comments read out loud. So he guarantees that he'll read your comment. He'll read your, he wasn't monetized at the time. So he guaranteed that he would read your turtle chats, since he couldn't do super chats, out loud to the class. That's just that's great marketing. That's a great way to keep your channel monetized. That's a great way to keep money coming into your channel. Right? But here's the thing. The part that they leave out is he's also raising money for a defense fund because he's got 8 counts of bullshit witness intimidation charges filed by you assholes because he just expressed his opinions. And you couldn't shut him down criminally, so now you're trying to shut him down civilly. Carney's followers by subscriptions donate to him, purchase his merchandise, and continue to visit his website. And this sounds like a fucking sound business model. I'm reading a sound business model, which boosts his attractiveness to advertisers. Right. Totally does. Carney has estimated his monthly income to be $45,000 to $50,000, which he attributes to his defamatory discussions of the Reed case. Carney publicly defends this corrupt business model by explaining, well, it's capitalism. If I create a service that people think is worth giving their hard-earned money to, that's capitalism. That's their choice. He claims that people want to give him money. People want to buy him Turtles Clubs. This is his argument. People want to buy stuff from the store. This is a sound argument. They printed the perfect argument to their bullshit right there. They're like, and he claims this. Yeah, it's a fucking, that sounds like a sound business model to me. All of that stuff, absolutely true. Like me personally, I'm an entertainer. I'm an entertainer. That's what I do. I get up here. You guys seem to like my take on these things. You guys know I'm no lawyer. You know I'm no mental health professional. You know this shit. But you like the way that I observe things and the way that I view things and the way that I express my observations. And so you donate. You support the channel because the channel provides you with something. Entertainment. Sometimes even inspiration. I'm always grateful when I hear that. When somebody says, oh my God, you inspired me to do this. You inspired me to do that. I'm like, holy shit, man, that was not my intention. This is amazing. It's great. But this is what we do. We are entertainers. It's literally no different, okay? It's no different than me standing on a subway platform in New York City, playing guitar with my guitar case open and people throwing money in it. At the same time, it's also no different than a fucking rock star who goes on stage and fucking plays music that people bought tickets to watch. It's no different. Supply, demand. Demand, supply. It's that simple. A monetary exchange of goods. Such as Megan Sue. Thank you so much. They wouldn't protect Brian Higgins. They would protect Colin Albert. I think it was joint, but my opinion is mine, not anyone else. It makes sense. This lawsuit is bullshit. Right. Right. There's all kinds of, this is going to be easily shut down. Because again, they have to prove it. They have to prove defamation. They're never going to be able to do that. Jen Altman, member for 3 months. You speak truth and logic. Thanks, Will. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. I mean, here we go. In coordination with Reed and at her behest, that's what it says here, Carney spread elaborate and false narratives about the plaintiffs because doing so attracted attention, personal notoriety, and buying audience. He deliberately stokes social anxiety and political discord in his listeners because distrust in government and cultural tribalism motivates those listeners to buy his products. Carney also sought production and movie deals to further monetize his highly public defamation and harassment campaign against plaintiffs. On July 1st, 2023, it sounds, they make it sound like he's going around with a fucking briefcase and hitting up Netflix, the Netflix building, and being like, can I get a 5-minute meeting for my pitch? And then has a fucking whiteboard where he's like, oh, and then, blah, 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 blah. And I was the one that led the rolling rally. And if you fucking make this movie, and I'm thinking, if you put me and I'm thinking like, Sean Penn's a little old, but with Mark Wahlberg, I could see Wahlberg playing me. And he pitched it. No, they approached him, dude. They came to him. They said, hey, we want to make your movie, and this is how much money we want to pay you for the rights to your story. That's how that works. He sought out Hollywood. Like he fucking was like, I'll be back, mama. I'm going to make it to the big time. And then he's got 2 suitcases, and he just takes his ass and gets in his fucking car, sleeps in it, halfway on the way to California, like, oh, Hollywood, here I come. My dreams are never too big. And then he's just pitching shit. He goes to fucking the Universal lot, sneaks past the guard, and is like, I just need 5 minutes of your time to pitch my idea for my movie. Get real, bro. Oh my God. Now we're going to get into the trial of Karen Reed. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm only halfway through this, but listen, I still have shit I got to do. I am only halfway through this. I will go over the rest of this. I don't think so late tonight. I don't think that's going to happen. but probably tomorrow. But I am gonna wrap this up. And what page am I on? I'm on page 23. Okay, I gotta remember Michael Jordan. Okay, but I am gonna wrap this up. You guys are absolutely amazing. This is the biggest pile of dog shit. It's just one thing after the other with these idiots, man. And we're gonna have some fun. We are gonna do. I got a petty stream in the works. That might happen late tonight. I don't know. If not, it'll happen tomorrow. But a petty stream is definitely in the works. So if you're not members, become members. Because I do those petty streams and they are members only. And they are yeah, they are members only. So when I do those petty streams, they start off regular and then I switch it over. But yeah, they're like fucking $3, whatever. Like coffee in the morning costs more. But yeah, people have been asking me. The existing members have been begging for a petty stream. Lana has been begging for a petty stream. And so I haven't done a petty stream in a minute. And I owe you guys one. It's been a minute. So you guys are absolutely fantastic. And yes, I will. You know what? I will do that when I do the petty streams. I'm due to give some free memberships out. And I will do that when I do the petty streams. But guys, you guys are absolutely fantastic. You mean the world to me. Thank you guys for all your support. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for giving me something to do while I'm just to take a break from all of this shit today. But I just literally my favorite thing to fucking do is hang out with you guys. But I got to go. I don't belong to a 24-hour gym anymore. This gym actually, unfortunately, does close at some point, and I got to make it there. If I'm gonna be worth a shit the rest of the evening. So I love you guys very much. Remember, it only takes a second to stay safe, and being retarded never stopped anybody from being a good neighbor. Okay? Remember, I love you very much. We will do this again very soon, my friends.
Watch out!
Today, being retarded means leading a full life. Retarded people go to work or school, just like their neighbors, and come back to a real home. A supervised home, right in the neighborhood, where they belong. Being retarded never stopped anyone from being a good neighbor.